A dash of mystery, a sparkle of magic, and all things cozy. Join your host, Elle Hartford, for Cozy Alchemy, a proud member of the Authors on the Air network. Hello and welcome to Cozy Alchemy, the podcast all about cozy, wicked books. I'm Elle, and my guest today is Heather Spellman, author of Two's a Charm. We will get to that in just a minute, but first, Heather's going to start us off with a game of two truths and a lie.
Thanks so much for having me, Elle. All right, here we go. I have been both a tango dancer and a weightlifter. That's number one.
Ooh.
Second one is my high school would reward high-achieving students with a commemorative school spoon. That's number two.
Okay.
Number three is my Jack Russell Sampson is a descendant of Wishbone.
Oh, that's adorable. And I do have a little bit of background knowledge in that you did give away that you have a Jack Russell at least. So I know that's at least partly true. Oh gosh, I really hope the spoon is true. That's just so funny. So I'm going to guess that the first one is the lie.
The first one's true. I
Ah,
danced tango for years and then I switched to Olympic weightlifting.
oh my
And I actually
goodness.
met my husband at an Olympic weightlifting gym. So there you go. The
Wow.
so I'm very comfortable in high heels and weightlifting shoes. So there you go.
It's a good range. It's very good.
It's all in the book. So it's fun to have some
Yeah.
interesting hobbies.
Yeah.
The good news is the spoon is also true. I'm Australian. I come from a deeply unserious country. I have not received my commemorative school spoon because I am not enough of a high achiever, but I am
Oh
doing my best.
no.
So I will let you know whenever I receive a spoon. I
Yeah.
did put the spoon in one of my books. Uh,
Nice.
that's as close as I will get to my school spoon. The third one is actually the lie. So I do have a
Uh,
Jack Russell called Samson. He's not related to Wishbone. Although the reason I came up with that was I was chatting with somebody the other day and their friend had a dog who was descended from Wishbone. So in like kind of like a 6 degrees of separation way.
right.
No Wishbone.
This. Okay, okay. So you're close, at
Yeah, a little
least.
close.
Yeah.
It's like a half
Yeah.
truth. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like at this point, like with publishing books and everything, like I feel like your school should at least give you like a spoon emeritus or something, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
I think
yeah.
a spoon's
Yeah.
not like an enormous thing to shell out for. It's not a
Yeah.
scholarship. I feel like we could do this. I
Right.
might make my own spoon.
There you
I make a
go.
good version of a spoon.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, we can make our own spoons.
I
That's
think
so
we can
true.
do that. Yeah, we deserve our own spoons. Yeah.
Well, and speaking of accomplishments and good news, so your book Two's a Charm is coming out officially in the U.S. in May. We were saying I just got my copy this morning. Very exciting. Uh, can you tell us a little bit about it to get us started?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a cozy romantasy about two sisters. We have bookish librarian Effie, very much after my own heart, and social
Mm.
butterfly and new bar owner Bonnie. They're struggling in the wake of their mother's death. And when their grifter uncle Oswald offers Bonnie an opportunity to make some quick cash for her struggling bar, she's like, sure, she leaps at the chance. But she soon realizes that there are some magical side effects that are starting to bespell the entire town. The sisters are having a bit of a rift, but they need to be able to work together to overcome their breakdown in communication, to talk to each other and undo this spell before everyone in the town loses their memory.
Mm. Nice. I I love a lot about this setup, and of course we'll get to it piece by piece. To start off, because your two sisters obviously are like the two in the title, they're like kind of like the focus
Mhm.
here, but they're so different. So I wanted to be sure to ask you, like, what was your inspiration for them and like for their dynamic?
Absolutely. So, as you can probably tell from the color scheme of the book and even the title font, it's very much a wicked coded book.
Mm,
So, when I was speaking with my publisher about this, they were like, we would love to have these two sisters in some kind of opposition. Me being a millennial, I was like, Daria and Quinn. That is, they became my for the book, although we are in kind
nice.
of a Wizard of Oz coded kind of setting, in a very
Mm,
small town that kind of has like a Stars Hollow vibe, but with some fun little places like the Winged Monkey. Bonnie's bar is called the Silver Slipper. The town is called Yellow
nice.
Bit Grove. So there's some kind of like fun references to the Wizard of Oz. I tried to stay as far away as I could from Wicked.
Mm,
So it's about the two sisters coming together. I wanted opposites who could clash, but they're working together, and it's always really fun, I think, to have two people who see the world so differently and who solve their problems so differently, and who also care about each other so deeply. But they're really proud, and it's really difficult to like work together towards a solution. So it's pretty rough in the beginning. I know poor Bonnie's a little bit hard in the first few chapters, but she has a heart of gold. They both do. They just see the world in such a different way. Um,
mm.
but yeah.
I really love that, especially what you're saying, because you put it really well. Of like they really love each other, but they solve their problems in very different
Mhm.
ways. I think that's it. Just feels especially poignant, especially these days. Honestly, like it's so nice to be able to see stories of people who can come together despite their differences.
Absolutely. And I think being
Mm,
able to admit that maybe you're wrong and your pride is getting in the way. And I think for both sisters, that's an issue. Like they both have their own pride. They're both wrong in their own way and right in their own way. And sometimes you
mm,
have to admit that maybe it's time to look through somebody else's eyes, or maybe acknowledge that maybe you need to change and grow as well. And, they're pretty young. They're in their early to mid 20s. So there's so much growth happening even just within this book. So it's a fun one.
nice. Well, and I'm gonna put you on the spot. Like as an
Okay.
author, writing
Mhm.
them both and writing the ways in which they're both right and wrong. Did you end up with favorites? Did it shift maybe depending on where
Oh,
you were?
such a good question. I mean, obviously, I'm an Effie.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Externally, I'm an Effie. I'm bookish. I'm quiet. I'm shy. I love cats. All of that stuff. Effie is a librarian, so she's very much a woman after my own heart. But as I wrote the book, I really grew to love Bonnie because she's
Ah,
trying so hard. She's, the popular sister. Things have always seemed to come really easy to her. And in the wake of their mum's death, she's used her inheritance money to buy this bar. And she's
mm,
not necessarily a great business owner, although she's a great face of a business. She's doing her best to make this business a success. She's maybe not making the best decisions along the way, but she's trying so hard to make this part of her mum's legacy and something that she can offer to the town to bring people together. And so I
mm,
really grew to love her in that maybe she's a little bit misguided in how she goes about it. And she really does need a lot of help because we all need help. We all need our communities.
uh,
And she's trying her best. And then meanwhile, we have Effie sees the library as a place of community. So she's bringing
mm,
people together in her own way, but they don't necessarily see this about each other. They both think if Bonnie thinks that Effie has this place that's shut off from the general public and is a bit snooty. And then meanwhile, Effie thinks that Bonnie has this place where people just go to get drunk, but they're both like community centers in this town. So they both have the same goal. They're just trying to go about it in very different ways. So I really feel like they're both a little bit of me for sure.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good answer. It's a good, and it highlights, especially like within the realm of like cozy fiction, cozy mystery, cozy fantasy, that sort of thing. We have a lot of both eating establishments and libraries as classic settings.
Absolutely. There are a lot of pastries in this book, so I hope
Yeah.
pastries, baked goods, and cats.
Yeah. I love that. Now, you pointed it out earlier, like we do have a lot of like Wicked or like Wizard of Oz kind of vibes going on. Um, so I was curious to ask you, yeah, especially with Wicked being so popular
Mhm.
now. Of course, when you were probably writing before that. But like if you could just
Mhm.
talk to that,
Yeah.
how was it adapting such a popular story?
Absolutely. I honestly I tried to stay as far away as I could. I was like,
Mm,
I'm not going to immerse myself in this world because I don't want to be too heavily influenced. But I mean, it is kind of impossible because it's such a huge part of popular culture. I still
yeah.
haven't seen the second movie yet, so that's how
I haven't
innocent I
either.
am.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a challenge. I was like, how do I make this something that's going to stand on its own? I mean, it's inevitably going to invite comparisons. People are going to say, this is Glinda, this is Elphaba, but they're very much their own people. Like I said, for me, they're very much Daria and Quinn from the show Daria,
Right.
with a little bit of me and a little bit of Gilmore Girls sprinkled in as well.
Right.
So I kind of just took some of the trappings, some of the names, some of I think the vibe of Wicked
Mhm.
versus, the characters or the plot.
Gotcha. Well, and we've talked on the show before about how, things that you read, but also like things that you loved as a kid, like all these different influences in your world tend to show up in your writing in one way or another, right?
Oh,
And it's,
absolutely.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, 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 no. It's just, I was just gonna say, yeah, things just kind of get remixed, sort
Yeah,
of.
absolutely. I mean, all of my characters, I like to use real movies, real music, real, characters from books or movies. Like I like to have my characters reference those. I know it
Mm.
inevitably dates a book, but I feel like every book is going to be of a time anyway. So I like to have my characters, listening to actual songs, watching actual movies, because I feel like it really helps ground them and feel real. So for that reason, all of my characters are basically elder millennials in terms of their tastes. I get a lot of comments on that. I love the retro vibes. And you're like, no, it's just I'm retro.
I can appreciate that. And I have to ask then,
Mhm.
do you make playlists for your characters?
I do. For this one, I don't think I did, but typically I do. This one I listened to tons whenever I was writing Bonnie, Lana Del Rey. And I had never
Oh,
been
okay.
much of a Lana fan before that. I mean, I was like aware of her and enjoyed her music, but for this, I was like Lana Del Rey 24/7. Like every time I was writing Bonnie, when I was writing Effie, it was kind of like 60s garage rock because she's like a little bit kind of indie. So not necessarily like a specific playlist, but definitely a vibe. So yeah,
Yeah.
whenever you read Bonnie's chapters, just put some Lana on in the background and you'll be good to go.
I love that. It's good to have that like immersive quality.
Yeah,
Get
absolutely.
more
It
than one
puts you
sense
straight
going
into a
on.
world, particularly if you're dipping in and out of a project. So I was working on another project at the same time, and I feel like music or like sensory things can really help ground you in the world you need to be in for sure.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I make playlists for all of my projects that I work on.
Can you do
So
anything
much
with
fun.
lyrics? Or
Yeah, I will go both like kind of vibe based and like what you're saying, like genre based. But yeah, if I'm, listening to a song and I'm like, that lyric exactly is like what this character would say, then I will pull it in. And I
oh,
don't mind it playing while I'm writing. Like it's
Oh,
totally
I
fine.
really struggle with lyrics. My music is on like
Oh.
2%, 2% volume. So it's just this like vague
It
background
really
noise.
is. It's just like infused a little bit.
Yeah, it's like a tiny mosquito of noise because that's otherwise I'm like too distracted. Any excuse.
I love that. No, no, I don't know. I can block out sound when I'm writing. I don't know.
That's so
For
interesting.
good or
Like,
for bad. Yeah.
I think that's great. I would love to have that magical skill for sure.
Nice. All right, but to get on track, we do of course have a romance
Mhm.
that develops in the story, and so I wanted to get like because we have like so much else going on and everything. Like, what's your feeling on romance in stories and like how it supports the character and the plot and everything else?
Oh, I love a good romance. This one actually has three.
Ah, my goodness.
So I won't I
Uh-huh.
won't give you too many spoilers, but we have a
Mm,
romance, a couple of secondary characters, and then both of our sisters have their own romances. They're very much like secondary to the core story. I feel like the core story is the sisters trying to come together and mend their relationship. And so I
mm,
didn't want the romance to overshadow that. So it's not necessarily about chasing a boy and falling in love. Or chasing a girl and falling in love. It's about coming together as sisters. But I feel like for each of their romances are such a great way to show what a character is running from or to,
mm.
or what they're need to realize about themselves or overcome about themselves. I feel like a good romantic partner kind of is positioned in accordance to the character. They share some of their traits, or they contrast with those traits, and they just help another character see something about themselves that they need to. So I feel like Effie, she's very shy and quiet. She hasn't really been in many relationships before. She's always felt overshadowed by Bonnie. So
Mm,
when her love interest comes on the scene and shows interest in her, she's initially a little bit shy and nervous. Like, why are you interested in me? Is this real? Are you mocking
mm,
me? So she's quite prickly to begin with until she realizes that maybe there is something real to this. Maybe I am deserving of this. So it takes
mm,
her a lot of growth to get there. And then Bonnie, on the other hand, I think she's always the main character of her own story, and I think is a little bit doesn't necessarily want to share that limelight. And I think her perception of a relationship is that she has to share that instead of being with somebody who supports and compliments her. So that's something that she has to work through as well. So, but yeah, I think romance is like a great way to propel a story forward and also to flesh out. I love secondary characters. It's a great opportunity to like flesh out secondary characters, have your characters move around the world you've created, visit interesting places. It's such a great opportunity. I love a good romance.
mm. Absolutely. I completely agree. And because I put you on the spot with the sisters, do you then also have a favorite side character?
Oh, I really love Tessa, who is Effie's
Mm,
best friend. She's a really
mm,
interesting one in that she's kind of this like bohemian artsy girl who's been Effie's like ride or die their whole life. But she starts kind of becoming good friends with Bonnie as well. And it brings in this really interesting dynamic where both sisters, they're in a place, their mothers died recently, they're dealing with that. And both sisters feel that their friendship dynamics and their dynamics within the town, all the relationships are shifting and changing, and that's a little bit scary. And
mm,
so, Effie sees Tessa, it's almost, is it a betrayal? Or is this an opportunity for me to become closer to Bonnie? And then Bonnie is also wrestling with that same idea. Is it fair for me to be Effie's friend? Why can't we all be friends? So there's a lot of
mm,
growth happening there. And I think Tessa is a really interesting character. Like, we definitely see Effie and Bonnie's social circles start to become very enmeshed in a way that they're not in the beginning of the book. They start off very separate and they all kind of start to find each other and realize that maybe we kind of have more in common than we thought. Maybe we can all get along in our lovely town.
yeah, right. I really appreciate that it's like found family, like
Mhm.
finding the family that you already had. That's very
Exactly. I
sweet.
feel like that's
Yeah.
a common theme in all of my books for sure.
Aw, that's so
And there's lots of
cool.
crochet. So Tess is really good for crocheting and crafting, which is great. So I
Adds to
tried
the
crocheting, but
coziness.
the line where Effie just like has a temper tantrum at the crocheting, that was me. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do this. I'm sorry. I will stab someone with this hook. I cannot do this.
That's a very good illustration of how like the hobbies and things that we have that we're good at, like dancing and weightlifting, those can be in books, but also the things that we're bad at.
Exactly. I would love
Yeah.
to be an amazing crafter, but alas, I am not. Maybe one. Maybe in my next book, I will have them be a
Right?
pro crafter, and then I will learn. But whew,
Yeah. Yeah, you might just have to find the right craft.
I think so. Maybe nothing with a sharp needle is probably. I did try
Probably.
felting. Felting is very good if you're feeling quite stressed because you literally
Nice.
stab a ball of wool with a sharp needle. It's quite good.
That's
Just watch
right.
your fingers.
Oh.
You can also stab yourself. But
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be careful. But you can make cute things. That's true. Okay, okay, okay. Um, so we kind of like as you've been talking about, we do have like the romance, we have the family, we have kind of like the larger like magical aspects and everything. So there's a lot of themes to this book, and I really had to ask, like, what was your favorite part of writing this story?
Oh, it was so interesting. I feel like theme really comes out as I'm writing, as I'm building the subplots and the secondary characters and the world. Because initially I had my two sisters, and it just felt like healing the rift was the main thing, and
Mm.
sisters and family I felt was the main theme. But little bit by little bit, I realized as I was building this world, it was definitely about community and also about how we all have magic in our own way. I know we were just talking about
Ooh.
but in
Yeah.
this Tessa isn't a witch. She doesn't have magic, but her magic is being able to create these beautiful crafts that have people feel like they can belong to something. And every character in the book has their own kind of magic, whether it's being able to just pick out a really nice outfit or like make a delicious meal. Like all of that is magic in its own way. And so that kind of came through. Like we all have our own magic, whether it's, tiny, it's just a tiny thing that makes things better around us. It doesn't have to be casting spells and stuff. It might just be you're really good with animals, or you make people smile, or you look really great with whatever outfit you put on. But everybody has some kind of magic, and I feel like I kind of channeled that into the book, and it was kind of a nice little theme that just kind of popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's so lovely. It's such a wonderful like theme and thing to take away from it, first of all. But also I feel like it's so much fun as an author to see that develop
Mhm.
and to see it coming on. Um the slight tangent, but pre, when I was pre-publication, I got feedback on one of my stories that was kind of along the same lines. Like it was a mystery, and there's like it's a cozy mystery, so there's naturally a group of friends who are working on solving this. And the person giving me feedback was like, "I love how everybody has their own like superpower as part of it," and I was like, "That is such a cool way to put that and to see that because we think about characters' strengths, but we don't always recognize it for what it is, which is magic." I
Absolutely.
like
I
that.
love it. I think that is one of the joys of a book when it starts to come together, you have this like cohesive ethos to the book. And
Mm.
sometimes you're writing maybe your plot, you have your characters, you have your setting, but I feel like once you realize what the book is about, that's when it really starts to come together and you're like, "Oh, now I know how to make this cohere because thematically it makes sense." John
Mm.
Truby, who's like a screenwriter guy, he has this great concept of like the designing principle, and it's basically like, what is this about? Like, what does this whole story pivot around? And like, once I sort of started thinking about my stories in terms of that instead of like a log line or whatever, I was like, oh, these feel like an actual, like a rounded, beautiful story. And I feel like my storytelling really came along.
Oh, that's a great piece of advice. And you said that it kind of develops as you're writing, right? So would you say it's like end of first draft is usually when you get a feel for that, and then like you can go back and develop it,
I
or
think it's usually about two-thirds of the way into the book.
mm.
Sometimes like I'll know immediately.
Hmm.
And then yes, sometimes it's like two-thirds of the way through. I'm working on one under a different pen name at the moment, and I kind of had that aha moment of like, oh, what is this about? And it was about somebody like needing to accept the need of community instead of doing everything by themselves. And it's kind of like a
Mm.
grumpy sunshine book. And once I realized that she needed that, and then I was like, I had her as the sunshine, and I was like, no, she's the grumpy. This all makes sense now. And so like, the whole book came together, and I'd kind of just been typing kind of uselessly until then. And once I realized, like, oh, that's what this is about. It's about like needing to understand that you as an individual can't right the wrongs of the world. You need your community around you. I was like, oh,
Mm.
okay, it all clicks. So yeah, usually partway through the first draft, about, and then I have to throw out a whole
Nice.
bunch of work. But that's all part of the
That's
work.
how it goes.
Exactly. It's a journey of discovery, typing discovery.
Yeah, yeah. Now, okay. So you do have other books out under other pen names, and of course,
Mhm.
this book also has been out for a little while, just not in the U.S. market. So I was curious about your experience with, especially with international publishing, and like what it's been
Mhm.
like.
It's been delightful, actually. So it's been kind of interesting because so this was published by Pan Macmillan, so it came out in the UK initially. I've actually
Mm,
published things in the UK under another pen name, so UK first,
mm,
and then later US publication. And it's kind of really interesting because I'm writing they're books that are set in America. I'm an Australian living in America, but we're writing primarily for a UK audience. So there's kind of like an interesting
yeah.
balance trying to reach that audience initially while also still being accessible to a US audience, because
Mm,
it's going to come out here as well, and it still has to feel real to American
mm,
readers in an American setting. So it's a really interesting balance. The experience has been really wonderful. You get flowers on your publication day, so I do recommend that.
aw,
The teams have
nice.
been absolutely wonderful. Cannot complain at all. I have a beautiful. I know you can if. anybody watching on YouTube can see the beautiful special edition behind me with the sprayed edges.
Yeah.
So we had a beautiful work special edition. So that was really lovely. My first special edition.
Nice.
But it's really lovely in that thanks to the internet and social media, you can still connect with those readers. So, the books are
Mm.
still up on NetGalley. We can chat on Instagram or wherever. So we can kind of share in the promotion and still kind of help spread the word and see what's going on. I have a series out in Germany and only in Germany.
Oh.
And that was actually really lovely in that it kind of relieved me of the pressure of promotion because I was like, well, I can't do anything. I don't know what's going on. And it was
Fair.
actually really lovely because until then I had just been doing all the promotion in the world, like trying to move the needle. And this series came out and I was like, good luck, little books, off you go. Um, and it was actually really lovely, and they did fine. And it was really
That's so
nice to know that
cool.
okay, my primary job is to write the best book that I can.
Mm.
And it will find its readers, like I trust my publishers to do, and they do a fabulous job. Well, I'm chatting to you today. And they
Yeah.
do a great job
Mm.
of getting the word out, creating a beautiful book, and getting into the right readers' hands. So it's been a really great experience, actually, although it is going to be nice to
Nice.
walk into bookshops and be like, hi, can I sign this
Yeah.
book?
Yeah, there you go.
These, all of these books under my various names. I am all of these people.
You gotta practice different signatures.
It's interesting. Sometimes I'll do like a slash, like people who know me personally. I'll be like, yes,
Mm.
Heather slash. And so there'll be like different names on the book.
Well, okay, and I have to ask one follow-up question, which is the series that came out in Germany, was that in German? Or was that
Yes,
like,
yes, only
oh,
available in. So I wrote it in English, and then a German
okay.
company acquired it and then translated it. And yeah,
Wow.
very interesting. Beautiful book, gorgeous artwork, and yeah. But yeah, so if you're in
Nice.
Germany, see if you can go pick it up. Yeah.
I was about to be really impressed if you were like also fluent in German, but that does make
Definitely,
more
definitely
sense.
not fluent. Duolingo fluent,
Yeah.
but it's the best I can do. Probably order a beer. That's as much as I can do. Yeah,
The really important things.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Nice. Well, okay. So with so much going on, what is next for you?
So the next thing is the second Heather Spellman book, which I sent off
Nice.
final proofs today. So it's very interesting to switch back into this other world with these other characters right now. Like I picked up Two's a Charm today, and I was like, oh, like to be immersed in this other world once more. It's kind of books are just magic like that. You just get to dive into a
Yeah.
whole new world. And I've been in the second Heather Spellman world now for 6 months or so, I think. And so that's where I've been living with these characters. So it's been kind of lovely to head back to Two's a Charm, and you're like, oh, I did that. It's lovely. So Two's a Charm will come out on the 5th of May. And then I
Mm.
believe in July, the second one comes out.
Oh
It's called,
gosh, okay.
I know, I think it's UK first. It might be simultaneous UK, US, or we might be back on a podcast next year where I'm like, so
Right? Yeah,
I can't remember what that's about.
yeah.
But yeah, so I just sent off that one. So that comes out pretty soon. It's gorgeous. It
Cool.
is a love triangle. I promised myself I would never write a love triangle, but I did
Ooh.
because
Uh-oh.
never say never. It's about a chronically indecisive sports writer called Molly who vacations every year with her family in the magical town of Whisperwind Cove, which has like magical
Nice.
whisper winds that whisper secrets to you. But this year there's some magic and some romance in the air, and she finds herself needing to make the biggest decision of her life and her love life
Ooh.
before the spell she's been weaving all come crashing down. So it's a fun one. It's
Nice.
very charming, very beachy, perfect summer ween read. It's not set in the same world as Two's a Charm, but I was a bit sneaky and I did pop a little cameo of Effie and Bonnie in there for you. So
Fun. Very cool. And yeah, definitely like similar, like magical vibes for sure, it sounds
absolutely. So
like.
just very
Yeah.
quiet,
Yeah.
very gentle, family
Yeah.
dynamics. Sisters again. Do love some sisters. I have two
Oh,
sisters. So
nice.
got some sisters. Yeah, just like a great like, world you want to just immerse yourself in, and also more baked goods. So
Perfect.
and watermelon cup one, yeah.
Ooh, there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Okay, I ask this of everybody.
Mhm.
What advice would you give to yourself if you could go back and talk to yourself when you were just starting out? What would you say?
I think let go of the way you think your writing career should be and just roll with.
Uh,
When I started out, I had a very specific goal of this is the career I want, these are the kind of books I want to write, the books I want to sell, this is what my life will look like. No. And my
wow.
and
Yeah.
it was such a struggle for me. I just kept writing these books and nothing was happening, and it was such a struggle until I just started letting things happen. I just started writing things for fun. I just started chatting with people. If there was an opportunity, I'd put my hand up, even if it was something completely out of my wheelhouse. I feel like I opened myself up to a whole bunch of different opportunities and didn't necessarily look to a very specific path. And now I have a pretty cool career. I have probably 20 books out under various pen names and things. It's my full-time job
Nice.
now. But it took a really long time. And I think a lot of it was I had
Mm.
to be an Effie and develop
Right.
that pride and that like structured sense of how things should go. Like this is not a linear career. It's not like
Mm.
sell one, sell the next book and and then become a millionaire or whatever. It's very
Yeah.
much books will happen as they happen, stories happen as they happen. You will find readers and you will find your place, but just be open to allowing that to be whatever it is.
I love that. And one of the reasons I love asking this question is because I always feel like every time somebody answers this question, I feel like, "Oh, I needed to hear that today." So
I think
I
we
but I
all,
right?
yeah.
I definitely needed to hear that. And because it's hard, right? Because we get so locked into, like, I plan things out and this step and then this step, and it's all edited very carefully to all kind of fit into what you want. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
This is like what a career looks like, and this is what it should be. And I think once you're just kind of
Mm.
open to it, I also started keeping, I always talk about this, I call it a book of tiny wins. So anytime
Ooh.
anything good happens in my writing career, and I feel like it really helps when you're like staring down at your computer and the words aren't coming and you're like, oh, I'm a giant failure. If you
Mm.
write down those little wins and then you go back over them and you're like, oh, I'm doing this thing. Like I'm making strides towards this thing that I really want, that I really care about. Even if it's, I finished a draft, I sent this email, I received this nice note, I got to be on a
Oh,
podcast, things
yeah.
like that. You write all of it down, and then you're like, look, I'm doing it. I'm doing the thing, even though your brain is telling
Yeah.
you like you're doing it all wrong. If you like look back and it's all written down, I feel like your brain can't lie to you when you're looking at it right in front of you.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. That's a good, and that segues beautifully into our final question. But before we get there, obviously I will have like your bio and website in the show notes, but is there any other way that you want folks to find you online or
Yeah,
at your
absolutely.
local
So,
bookstore? I know.
oh yeah, please do find me. Know if you find me at your local bookstore on May the 5th, because I'm very excited if you do.
Yeah.
Your photo, I'd be very excited. So I'm all of my social media is consolidated under one name. I'm Steph Campese, so not Heather Spellman. But you will find all of the Heather stuff on Steph Campese, stephaniecampese.com, or on my Blue Sky, Steph Campese. So I just keep it all under one so that I don't confuse well, I probably do confuse everybody, but just to make life easy for myself.
Yeah, yeah. At least it's streamlined for you. Yeah.
Sorry, it's not streamlined for anyone else, but it's streamlined for me.
Sometimes you have to put yourself first.
Exactly. Don't tell my publisher that though.
Fair enough. All right. Okay. On that note, what is one win that you've had in the past week? Could be anything.
Oh, um, so I've had something optioned for television, and
Ooh.
it's kind of my first foray into that. So I've been working on the development materials, and that's just been very exciting trying my hand at a new type of writing. that requires very different
Yeah.
skills and a very different way of looking at story. There's a lot of overlap, but there are a lot of things that are different just structurally and in terms of focus and how the industry works. So that's just been really exciting, just like dipping my foot into that side of things. So
Yeah.
a pretty big win, actually. Also taking
It
my dog for a walk.
is.
That was a really nice, like, that's my daily win, taking my little dog for a walk. Yeah,
That is, yeah, it's good to have like a steady win to fall back on every day.
exactly. My dog will
But
not let me not have that win. Yeah.
but
You heard me
how
say walk, he just
fun.
walked in. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's like,
He's
by the
walking
way.
out. He's
Yeah.
like, now it's time. Yeah.
Aw. That's so cool though. It's like a whole fun new journey. My
It
goodness. Like
is.
with the,
It's really
yeah.
interesting and just like, oh, there you go. That's my
Mm,
tiny win of the week. So fingers
nice.
crossed I
Well,
can share more about that soon. Yeah,
yeah, congratulations. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, absolutely. Fingers crossed.
exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having been here, Heather, and for talking with us.
Thank you for having me, Al. You're a
Yeah.
superstar. This has been lovely.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Thank you. Like I said, I will have everything in the show notes, so listeners definitely go find that, and I will talk to you next time. Cozy Alchemy is brought to you by Authors on the Air, and our theme music is by Cyberwave Orchestra. For everything else, blame Elle. You can find her online at ellehartford.com.